Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Q&A ahead of Gameweek 10. I'm joined by Sam, the lovely Sam, with a big green arrow, just like me.
Yay!
I think you're like 1 or 2 points ahead of me now, Sam, in the rankings. Pretty close. We had good weeks, didn't we?
Yeah, finally, right? You know, it's like we were saying though last week, wasn't it? Like if you get the captaincy right and you have a couple of differentials in there or a couple of players who just return big hauls, suddenly you fly up the overall rank because it's so tight.
Yeah, sorry, I just pressed a load of keys and a load of weird noises just happened. Because I've just confirmed the sound's all right. I think it is. I had you coming through the wrong port, but I think I fixed it.
Does that sound like a robot? I am.
No, you were really loud, and then I think I made you really quiet. But hopefully,
I'm always really loud. That's me.
Yeah, as you said, yeah, absolutely. One good week can kind of turn your seasons around. It was a pretty monumental week for that. Loads of players hitting big hauls. If you had them and Haaland captain, you did well. So apparently it sounds fine. So that's good. Yes, hello everyone in the chat. Do get your super chats in. Sorry, I'm scratching my nose. I've got a spot on my nose right here, and I've got hay fever today for some reason. So if I'm doing that, it's not me trying to pick it. It's just me with an irritating itch. I'm talking nonsense already. Hello everyone. Welcome to the Q&A. Please get your questions in. Get your super chats in as well. We'll make sure we answer all of those. Gianni is currently off in Qatar.
I saw that.
Working with Street Child United. They're hosting the World Cup out there, which is all street children and homeless children and children that work on the streets, competing to raise awareness and money for different countries and supporting homeless children around the world. So amazing charity, really noble cause. Scouts support it as well. So yeah, as I said, the money raised will go towards 50% of the money raised will go towards that. So do get your questions in.
Did you know that as a result of our Q&A, they've also had a doctor volunteer to go out and help at the event?
No, I nearly swore.
Honestly.
I nearly swore then. Really?
Yeah.
What? Someone listens?
So somebody who watches our Q&A is a qualified medic, and apparently Gianni was saying that what they have a lot of the time they have to pay for medical expertise to go out there to these different tournaments and basically, be around in case something happens during them. But somebody was watching our Q&A a couple of weeks ago, got in touch with Gianni and volunteered, and he's gone out to help run the tournament out there. So not only have we raised money, but we've also saved them a load of money because this guy's volunteered to do it and they didn't have to go out there and pay.
There you go. If there's any other medics or doctors in the chat who want to go out to Qatar, then that can be ours. Oh, incredible. Andy Martin in the chat. Very interesting. That's very, very rare for Andy Martin to come into a Q&A. He says, if asked a question, you probably won't like it. I assume it will be about Salah. Go on, ask your question, Andy.
Come on then, Andy.
We'll answer it. We've had maybe the weirdest super chat we've ever had, which I'll read out first, which was actually came in before we started, which just says, as looks dashing today, which is weird in itself. Lee sure is one lucky man. Now, I read that as being Lee's a lucky man because I look dashing, which I couldn't really comprehend unless it's two separate compliments, one for me being dashing and another saying that Lee's a lucky man for being with you. But it kind of reads like it's all linked,
I mean,
am I dating Lee now? Is that what's happening? Maybe.
I mean, if that's the way that the love affair is going these days, then I'm worried. Have you been hanging out with my husband without me?
I could do worse. FPL Lighthouse, thank you for the super chat. Have Mitrovic and Isak, one free transfer. Oh God, yeah, I feel sorry for anyone with Mitrovic and Isak. Just quickly, I mean, just before we go into it, we don't know. We haven't had Marco Silva's press conference yet on Mitrovic. We'll know that for the team news I'm doing with Neil today at 3:30, 30 minutes past 3. I would be amazed if Mitrovic is fit for this weekend, though. I would too. That's my take on it. You don't bring off Mitrovic after 30 minutes or whatever it was against Newcastle. Like he wouldn't, he's not that player that will. He will only go off if he's got something that will keep him out for a little bit of time. I don't know whether it would be a week, 2 weeks, but I'm really not expecting him to play.
No, I agree with you. I mean, I know that there was some people out there saying, "Oh, the game was already lost, so having got injured in the international break,
Not
took him off." I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. I don't think Fulham are that kind of team that they just give up. You know, I don't think Mitrovic is that kind of player either, that, you know, he's going to go, oh, you know, well, we're losing and the game's done,
limp off and
you know,
yeah,
come off.
no,
And
no
I
way.
just don't see that. Like, I don't buy that rhetoric at all. I think for me, if he's coming off, it's because he wasn't right going into that. You know, he wasn't right, obviously, in that first game of the international break. He then comes off and he's got ice on it after the second game of the international break, and then comes off early in the first game week back afterwards. I just don't buy the whole
no,
it's fine and he'll play. We'll have to see what Silver says.
Yeah,
but
we'd probably not spend. We probably shouldn't spend too much time saying, because if Silver comes out and goes, oh, he's fine. What's everyone talking about?
If he's fine, then
like,
you keep him.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing.
You keep him if he's fine.
Yeah, I think with any of the questions today, we're going to run with the assumption that Mitrovic is out for a couple of weeks, right? Because if he's fit, or if he's just out for 1 week, I think you probably keep him, because he's still a great option up front. If he's out for a prolonged period of time, you need to sell him, and then we'll deal with that. So that is just a disclaimer before we get into FPL Lighthouse's question. Have Mitrovic and Isak, who's also a major doubt. Powers said that he's probably pretty unlikely to play as well. Have the money to do Andreas up to Zaha. Need both forwards for game week 12. Should I remove a forward or get Zaha and play Gross? I think, given you've got 2 forwards injured, you probably need to prioritise getting rid of one of those, right?
Yeah.
There's money in the bank, because if FPL Lighthouse can afford to do Pereira to Zaha, he can afford to do, he can afford to do Mitrovic or do Isak to Wilson, for example.
Well, that's what I would do. I do Isak to Wilson.
That's what I do.
Or you could even, go a little bit rogue and go for somebody like Scamacca at West Ham. No, you could go one of those two, depending upon the news on Mitrovic, depending upon whether you do Isak or Mitrovic out. I would wait and see on that one. But Isak to Wilson seems like a really good option this week. Although I do really like the Zaha pick. I don't mind playing Gross this week, though, against Spurs. Like, Spurs defensively, Tell
you what I'd do. I would do Isak to Wilson and Gross to Trossard.
Yeah, I like that. Trossard's going to be the one.
Yeah.
Like, last week he had a great record against Liverpool. I don't think any of us were really expecting that he'd do quite as well as he did do. But he did have a great record against them, and I think Brighton have a good record against Spurs, so no reason to think that Brighton can't go all out attack again against Spurs and get something out of that game. So, and Trossard for me is a far better pick than Gross, but if you've got Gross, I wouldn't be adverse to playing him this week for sure. No,
my only concern with Gross is he was subbed off for 60 minutes when we were kind of chasing the game, when the game had been brought back to 3-2, I think it was, or 2-2, and I do worry a little bit that his kind of versatility might be a bit of a problem for him, because he could play McAllister in 10, for example. We could change the system around. I would just rather have Trossard. I just think Trossard is going to be our most nailed and most attacking player. So I even think for a hit, I would probably just do it. And if you've got the money to do Gross to Trossard, just do it. Or just play Gross this week. I don't think it really matters. But yeah, I would definitely prioritise removing one of those 2 forwards than getting Zaha this week. Here he is, Andy Martin. Should people sell Mo Salah and spread the funds? It was going to be about Salah. Time to sell Salah?
Yeah.
This week?
Yeah.
Is that it?
I think the next two... they've got Arsenal next, then they've got Man City. The 2 best teams in the league by a mile at the moment. The 2 teams that are scoring the most goals. Now, both of those teams will give up some chances, but they won't give up loads and loads of chances for Salah. Salah's playing in a much wider position, much better for XA, much less attacking goal threat than we've seen in previous seasons. Liverpool still look good going forward, don't get me wrong. Like, their forward play still looks good and they're still going to have plenty of goal opportunities. But I'd rather, for example, have Foden and Grealish over Salah.
Grealish? Whoa, hang on a second. You can't just chuck Grealish in there.
Yeah.
Can you?
I think Grealish is... I actually think...
I was not expecting you. I was not expecting...
Here we go.
I was not expecting...
Here we go.
Okay, so he's your flavour of the week, is he? Grealish? You've had...
Yeah, this week it's Grealish. Who was it last week?
It was a defender, wasn't it? It was...
I can't think who it was last week now. Was it Eric Dyer? Probably.
You just don't care, do you, Sam? You just you bring him in, you talk about him, and then you ditch him.
You have had
Grealish.
Grealish is genuinely one that I think on wildcard I'm going to go for, because I actually think that he, all of a sudden in the last 3 weeks, looks like he's really settled. He's confident. He's happy. Like his facial expressions during the Champions League when Haaland was putting those goals away looked like a man that's finally kind of found his home.
He was
like
player of the match as well in that game.
He was, yeah. And I thought actually he was, for me anyway, apart from Haaland, leave Haaland out of it. But in game week 9, obviously I know Foden got the hat trick, but I thought Grealish was phenomenal. Some of the balls he was putting through, he like assisting the assist, which is annoying, but nonetheless, he was fantastic in game week 9. And I do think that if we continue to see Foden playing on the other side, then he's got his preferred position, and we're going to see balls going into Haaland all the time, because that's how City play now, right? And I think he could be one of those players, and he's like 6.8 million. He could be one of those players that at that price point just breaks the template up a little bit. Like he's one that I am. If City weren't blanking in game week 12, he'd have been my transfer in this week.
Yeah, I mean his stats are good. So his XGI non-penalty per 90 is 0.47, which is better than Son, for example. It's better than Martinelli. It's better than Saka. Better than Zaha, who's very popular. 3 appearances, just 1 goal, no assists. Amazingly, despite being in the top 10 of all midfielders for chances created per 90. I like him as well. To be fair, I'm going to be talking about him on Fanzo later. I think he's definitely a left field option. I love the fact that Andy Martin's asked about should we sell Mo Salah. We're talking about bringing in Jack Grealish, but I think it just shows, doesn't it?
Yeah, but
I think this is the time.
I would sell Salah for him. Yeah.
Yeah,
I would. In fact, I'd sell Salah this week for Zaha. I'd sell him for Maddison if I didn't have him. I'd sell him for any City midfielder right now. There's not many players that I would say I'd keep Salah over. And that doesn't mean that I think Salah won't return any points. Like, let's be clear on this. I don't think that Salah's going to blank in every game week coming. But the two, like, if you look at the fixtures and the way that Liverpool are playing, they've got difficult games against Arsenal and Manchester City. They're not in the best form. Going forward, they look okay, but they don't look as good as they did last season going forward. There's lack of connectivity for me anyway between the defenders and the midfielders and the forward line. And that kind of play out from the back style is something that we're really used to at Liverpool, and we're not seeing it as successfully this season. The kind of all of the kind of the football side of things and the eye test for me is just not being passed by Liverpool right now. So why spend that level of budget on a player when there are other players who cost a lot less, who are passing the eye test and have better underlying stats?
Yep. No, nice. Very, very, very well argued.
Sorry, Andy.
No, Andy's on your side. He doesn't want Salah. He's started without the season with him. One of the few people, just like Mark. So that's why he's now gloating. I think that Salah's
before we were
doing. Sorry, I'm having a nightmare today. I've just closed all the screens. So I'm now trying to get the chat back up. Don't ask. I mean, it's not uncommon. I like this kind of super chat.
I like the fact that one time we were on time.
I know.
And now it's all going wrong.
Oh, it's just me. Honestly, my hay fever is suddenly so bad. I don't know why. Kind of froze me. I like this kind of super chat from Daniel Keane. It's not a question. Doesn't need to ask us questions. Bobby de Corver-Reed is a better option than Bowen this week, and a great differential for a green arrow. That's it. That's the super chat.
Okay.
Bobby de Corver-Reed. I mean,
sure. I mean, he is a great differential. That's true.
I mean, great is one word I wouldn't probably use for de Corver-Reed. He's 28 points so far this season. Bobby de Corver-Reed. He's scored against Newcastle, got an assist against Forest. Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing with Mitrovic out, maybe he would be pushed forward. He got the goal with Mitrovic off the pitch, for example.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it, but I'm not like loving it.
No, well, you've got to love it because Daniel Keane's paid money to tell us about de Corver-Reed.
Daniel, so. I love it.
There you go.
I love it,
Stephen Gallagher. Hi guys. Hold Salah. I think we've answered that. Sam says sell for anyone basically. Bobby de Corver-Reed.
What would you do? What are you gonna do?
Well, Stephen Gallagher asked, should I sell Salah for KDB or Bowen?
Okay.
I think
this is interesting.
It is interesting. I think there's goals in this game against Arsenal. It is tricky because Salah obviously doesn't have City in the next game. I think
KDB's got Southampton.
Yeah, but then Liverpool and then a blank. Would you be buying City players?
Depends on your strategy, doesn't it?
Depends how many you've got. If you've got like Jesus, Martinelli, Gabriel, and then 2 other City players, I don't think you can.
But unless you want a free hit in 12.
I'd rather have Salah than Bowen this week.
Would you?
Yeah.
Wow.
You sold Bowen last week.
I know. I regret my choices. I regret my choices.
Well, you got Maddison at least, who did get more points.
Yeah.
It's amazing how quickly, this is the thing though, isn't it? It's amazing how quickly one game week can change your whole perspective. I mean, Liverpool could go to the Emirates, get a couple of goals, and suddenly he's...
Do you think they will?
I think they'll score, yeah.
Do you?
I think there's goals in this one, definitely.
Maybe. I'm thinking about selling Luis Diaz this week.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't... I don't fancy Liverpool to get anything out of this game. And I don't fancy them to get anything out of Liverpool either. Out of Man City either, the week after.
Yeah, I mean, Zaha's someone I really like.
He's the one I'll go to. It'll be Zaha that I get in instead of Luis Diaz. Look, I don't know. I think... Who was the other option there? It was Bowen and who?
De Bruyne.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for me, De Bruyne is an absolute... If you've got a good strategy for Game Week 12, you can play Game Week 12 without a problem if you bring in KDB now, then I would 100% bring in KDB this week. He's just got rested in the Champions League. Southampton are going to lose a game 9-0 this year. I bet you this is it.
I'd hold. I'd keep him. I'd keep him, and I also think Salah's a really good captaincy option in Game Week 12 when City and Arsenal don't play. And he's a big game player. I'd keep him. There you go. I think if you were going to sell him, you should have sold him like a couple of weeks ago. Not now. Not now. Liverpool was starting to click a little bit, like with Thiago back and things. Yeah, I'd hold. We're different. I like it when we have different opinions. Damien Brains. I'm not sure what to do with this super chat, Damien, but I'll read it out anyway. 119 points. Banging week. 2 transfers. I'm not sure what to do. Can't really help you. That's it.
Have we got a...
No. Do you know what? When you get 119 points, Sam, you're probably not even wanting our advice. So,
No, just set your team up for Game Week 12, probably. That's probably the best advice.
If you look at your team, you think it looks great, look at your team in Game Week 12. Is there anything you can do to be stronger in Game Week 12? I mean, one of the reasons why I'm looking at Palace players, not just because they've got a good run, but in Game Week 12, they play Wolves at home.
Yeah.
That's an amazing fixture. So if you've got like someone like, what's his face at Forest? Williams, Neco Williams. Move him to a Gahey or a Mitchell, for example. Just with one of those transfers, just get yourself a better bench option in that week. Because Forest,
or James Justin, maybe move someone like James Justin or Castagna.
Exactly. There's loads of those cheap kind of fodder players you can get. So yeah, if you don't know what to do,
Tarkowski, Connor, Cody.
Tarkowski he was the one last week.
He was the one.
And Cody scored.
Tarkowski, Cody, one of them. Like any of those teams that have got the sort of budget defenders in them that have nice fixtures in 12, they'd probably be good options to look at to prepare yourself. Like I think feasibly you could sell if you've got an Arsenal defender, for example, you could feasibly sell them this week to prepare yourself for 12 if that's the way you want to go.
I've seen in past weeks people with teams where they've said I've got 2 free transfers and I've looked at them and I've genuinely not known what they could do with those transfers. I would be amazed if there's anyone out there with 2 free transfers who can't find a way of bettering their team either for this week or for 12. So
I agree.
That's the thing to do in that situation. Hopefully that's helpful. Niles, hi guys. Thinking about doing, you're not going to like this, KDB to Foden, Saka to Zaha, and Mitrovic to Kane for a -4.
I actually don't mind this.
That's good.
Because
I like it.
Because so when you first said KDB out, I was thinking, oh God. But actually the Foden replacement I think is good because I do think Foden offers great value for money. You're also taking out an Arsenal player, right? Which is going to give you one less of a problem in Game Week 12. And you're replacing an injured Mitrovic with an informed Harry Kane who has nice fixtures and good records against the team that he's going to face and plays in Game Week. All right, so Kane's got Man United in Game Week 12, but he does have a good record against them and they're not exactly, perfect defensively at the moment. So I like those transfers.
I really like them as well. I think De Bruyne's a great option. Obviously, you hold him if you can, but
Of course,
for
sure.
for
But I
4
think if you can replace him with Foden, you're
yeah, for
okay.
4 million less. Foden also had the rest in the Champions League. It's 4
Yeah.
million less, and that money lets you get Zaha in, who I think is one of the best options you can bring in for the next few weeks.
Yeah, I agree.
Zaha is such a good option, Sam, that I could have him or Trossard playing for my beloved Brighton in the best form ever, and I'm still going to go for Zaha, I think.
Well, that's why I'm going to sell Luis Diaz, I think, because I
Yeah.
want Zaha.
The
So
fixtures are just too good. They're too good to
I
ignore
agree.
Zaha playing for Palace.
Yeah, I agree.
And then, yeah, like you said, Mitrovic to Kane. I mean, that is a hell of an upgrade, given that
Yeah,
Mitrovic is
absolutely.
injured. Yeah, I really like it.
I would do that.
Yep, I would do it for a -4. Jamie Go Afro. I always worry that I'm going to read something really inappropriate, like see more butts.
Start reading it before you.
Yeah, I should
look
start.
at it.
I should start doing that. I think I've read like okay, I won't say it. I think I read one last week, which was a bit not controversial, but
Tell me about that afterwards.
yeah, well. Would you consider Foden in for Son?
Okay.
So sell Son this week for Foden, or Foden and Gahey for Andreas and Cancelo for a -4. I would definitely not sell Cancelo this week.
You can't sell Cancelo ahead of Southampton.
Not from for a -4. So we can
No,
rule
you
that
have
one
to
out.
keep him. I would sell Son this week on the basis that I think the issue we have at Spurs right now is it's down that side with Son and Perisic and how their relationship is not quite working yet. Now, the question for me is, with Royale suspended, what happens on the other side of the pitch? So does Conte do what we've seen him do once before and shift Perisic over and play Sessegnon with Son? Because if he does that, that's better for Son. Or does he keep Perisic where he is and give Doherty the start on the other side, which would be, I think, my preferred. I would like to see Doherty given a chance in this game. I think, he's a decent option. I wish he was given a chance. Either way, I don't think you're going to get the level of returns that you would want from Son. The only caveat I would place on this is just think about game week 12, because obviously if you sell Son for Foden, are you then reversing the transfer again?
I don't think you can do it.
A week's time.
I don't think you can do it. I don't think you can sell Son for Foden this week, given that Son has Everton in game week 11 and Foden has Liverpool, and then Foden doesn't have a game in 12. I think Son outscores Foden over the next 3 games, given that he's got an extra game and a better fixture in 11.
I mean, I guess it depends though, doesn't it? Because if you sell Son this week for Foden, you've got money in the bank. It depends what you do with that money in the bank. If you use that money to invest in, say, Kane instead, then maybe it is worth doing. Because, I think arguably then you get the better Spurs player and you get a great City option.
Yeah, but
it's just transfer him out for game week 12.
Jamie isn't asking about other moves on top of that. It's purely
he just wants to make that
purely Son to Foden. I wouldn't do it.
Thing is, do you think Son's going to return this week?
I think if anyone is, it's going to be him against Brighton. Yeah, because I said this on Black Box the other day. I think we're going to play into your hands a bit. I'm not.
You will.
I'm not confident about this game. My dad is, Mark is, my mum is, everyone, and all the Spurs fans I talk to are really pessimistic. I just think this is the kind of game. This isn't a Burnley type game which you're going to struggle to break us down. You're going to have chances in this game.
No, you'll play. Yeah, we will. But I don't think they'll land for Son. That's my issue.
You don't think? No, I just think on the counter with his speed, I think he could really hurt us.
But look at how he's been. He's not been on the counter with speed. That's been Perisic, or it's been Kane sending a ball up to Richarlison. Like, unless there's a fundamental shift in the way that Spurs play, and we go back to playing with Kane and Son up top without Perisic, so unless he plays a back line that's got Sessegnon and Doherty, if that's the team, then I think Son.
There's
has a
no
great
way
game.
Doherty's going to play. No way. Not after the comments he's made about him. No, I don't want to lose.
Yeah, but without Royale there, it's either play Perisic in the wrong place, which I didn't think really worked when he played him over on the other side. I didn't think that he was that successful.
Did Spence come in, or is he even further down the...
Well, yeah, but he's made some really interesting comments about Spence recently, basically saying he's not ready. Because the Spurs fans, there was a lot of call from the Spurs fans to say, play him. And the word out of the camp was basically you've got to trust the process. He's not ready. So I don't see Spence playing. So it gives him 2 choices, doesn't it? It's Perisic on one side with Doherty on the other, or Perisic on the Doherty side with Sessegnon on the other. And I think he favours Sessegnon over Doherty. It's a really tough one, but if Perisic is on the pitch, which I think he will be, I do worry that will have a negative impact again on Son, because it only ever seems to be when Perisic comes off that Son actually does anything half decent.
Okay, well,
takes away some of his set pieces too.
To answer the question, because we've got quite a few more to get through. Would you do Son to Foden this week?
Yeah.
Okay. I wouldn't.
But the fixture against Southampton is so good for Foden. He could get 9.
He won't get 9, but he might get. That'd be great if he got 9. Quite a few people liking the Grealish shout. Sam?
Yeah,
nice.
I love him at the minute. He's my flavour of the month. He's the one I really wish I could own this week.
Although T. Swepele Silica says he's in the David Silva role and he won't get anything. David Silva had his moments. I mean, he was frustrating, but
he was also great at points.
Andy Martin says, I still think Salah gets to 250 points this season, but interchanging the 8 million mids will get you more. If Salah's going to get 250 points, you've got to own him. Like that would be a ridiculous return for him. I don't think he's getting.
I can't see him.
I don't think he's getting 250 points this season, given what we've seen so far.
No, I can't see him getting anywhere
250
near that.
points would be like an incredible return for him. Yeah, I don't agree. Don't agree, Andy. Damien Brains again. Should I remove Pope down to Martinez or Guaita? Bearing in mind he's got the 2 frees.
Yeah, this is one that I would do.
Really?
I do. Yeah, I do not like the Newcastle double up defensively. I'm assuming he's going to have Trippier, and I don't like the double up.
Goalkeeper transfer.
But if you've got 2 free transfers, so this I think is the perfect point for this, isn't it? If you've got 2 free transfers and you're looking at your team thinking, I'm okay for game week 12, I'm heavily invested in the teams that I want to be in. You know, I've got the key Liverpool asset. Don't know why I said Liverpool. The key Man City assets, the key Arsenal assets. I've got the players like Maddison and Zaha because I've just wildcarded. I would honestly look at my team and think, right, is now the right time for a swap of goalkeeper then? Because I don't think Pope is a bad goalkeeper pick by any stretch of the imagination, but we are seeing far less clean sheets this season than we ever have before. If we carry on like this, we're going to have the lowest Golden Glove total ever in an FPL season. So why double up on a defence if you don't have to? Like, play the fixtures. You've got nice fixtures for Crystal Palace, so you could invest in their goalkeeper. And Martinez has just got back-to-back clean sheets. They are playing not great, but the fixtures are also nice for them. So investing in one of those 2, I actually think is a really valuable thing to do at the minute.
Interesting. I just wouldn't use a transfer on a goalkeeper. I think they're too valuable.
But if you had 2 and you had nothing else to do, what would you do? If
you had 2 transfers and you had a perfect team for game week 12, maybe I'd do Pope to Guaita. But you won't. Like, people won't, because they'll have City players and they'll have other things. I don't know. I just wouldn't. I would look at the bench and try and work out, you know, how you can strengthen your bench and take out players like Williams or fodder players, and like there just will be players in your team that I think are more of a priority. I mean, Pope's got Brentford at home. That's fine. That's a fine fixture this week. I just don't think you need to worry about it. If you've got nothing else to do, and you're just going to burn the transfer, maybe Pope to Guaita. But other than that, I wouldn't do it. Right, let's have a look at some other questions. Loads of questions coming in. Hello, everyone. FPL Pharaoh. Cancelo and Bailey to Zaha and Dunk or Guehi, or Gabriel to Dyer, Dunk or Guehi.
You can't sell Cancelo.
Can't sell Cancelo. There's no point in asking us questions which involve selling Cancelo, because he's no way would I even consider selling him.
Not this week. You can sell Cancelo next week, but you can't sell him this week.
Yeah.
So I like the Bailey to Zaha thing.
You can't do that unless you sell Cancelo.
But can't you do it if you take someone else out?
No.
Because there must be somebody else you could take out there. There must be.
It's not the question, Sam. It's not the question. We've got to stick to the questions. It's not.
All right. So what's the other thing? Sell Gabriel
for the other one I think is quite easy. You should sell Gabriel for either Dyer, Dunk, or Guehi. I think Gabriel to Guehi is a great move.
Guehi. Yeah.
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 Or Mitchell. I like Mitchell at 4.5 as well. Maybe slightly more attacking threat.
Yeah, I like James Justin as well.
Or James Justin. Good fixtures for Leicester. Yeah. The good, I mean, again, the good thing about Gahey is that fixture in 12, because I think Leicester haven't got the best fixture in 12. Oh no, they have. They've got Leeds at home. That's easy. Yeah, fine. Justin's fine as well. Justin or Castagna.
Or Castagna, yeah.
Yep. Cool. Let me carry on down the list. Someone says agree with Az. That's rare.
That doesn't happen often enough.
Al Williams, time to ditch Trent. Oh, here we go.
Now you can sell Trent. Does Trent, honestly, he's not going to keep a clean sheet against Arsenal. He's not going to keep one against Man City. I don't think he'll keep one against West Ham either. No. Can he get attacking returns?
If I didn't have issues like Mitrovic and Diaz, who I've got to get rid of, I would probably be losing Trent and freeing up some money. I think there is better options than him at the moment.
And loads cheaper as well. Yeah. Like the ones we've just been talking about, those budget ones, I'd still invest in them from Trent. Trent will take the money.
Trent will be back. Don't get me wrong. Like he will be back and be a force. But you've got to think the next two fixtures are really tough. If you're going to sell him, you probably do it now. Yeah. I'll also ask about Aubameyang. Thoughts on Aubameyang?
Yeah. I mean, he's a great differential, isn't he? Like, he's a great. So I've got another player that I'm a bit obsessed with at the moment is Sterling. Like, I've got this thing about Sterling at the minute. I think I've been, and I still feel like I need to watch a little bit more Chelsea because I still don't quite know. And then the injury to Fofana obviously might change the way that they play. So let's just keep a monitor on that. But I think Aubameyang, suddenly they've got a proper forward, right? That they can kind of feed into. I like what impact that might have on Sterling. I think both of them have the potential. The Chelsea fixtures are nice. I think both of them have got massive potential. So either one of them would be a really good way, I think, to invest in these guys.
Still a bit of a funny team, Chelsea. I mean, it was a good performance in the Champions League. They obviously got the win against Palace, a bit controversially, to say the least, with Thiago Silva's pretty obvious red card they didn't give. I mean, that's putting it lightly, I think. But it's Wolves, Villa, Brentford, United, Brighton, Arsenal. I mean, particularly the next 4 games, you'd think there is goals there. 1.9% ownership for Aubameyang. Mitrovic injured. Maybe a few people have got some money. Maybe people are selling Salah or Trent and they can use that money. He is. I mean, 9 million is quite pricey, but I definitely don't hate it.
I quite like it.
Quite like it. Okay.
There
you go.
Yeah, particularly if like Mitrovic is injured and you've got money in the bank because you've sold Salah.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's what I mean. I think if you've got 2 free transfers and you're looking at selling one of Salah or Trent, that's probably a good use.
Yeah.
Because that would be my question, right? That was one of my questions when we were talking about selling these players. It's what do you do with that cash? And I guess if that gets you Pereira up to like Zaha or Maddison or someone, that's great. But also you could look at doing Mitrovic up to Aubameyang now that he's actually an option. Excellent. I'll just take some random questions now, so it's not all focused on Super Chats. Zoran Cabrillo, Martial or Wilson? Wilson for me. We like Wilson.
Me too.
1.3% ownership. Isak out again.
I like him too.
Playing Brentford. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind Martial. It's just the United fixtures are a bit tougher. And he's had been injured, hasn't he? And he's come back, and I think he'll start against Everton. But to be fair, Wilson's been injured as well. But no, I'd go for Wilson. Let's have a look. Gecko has an identical rank to me. There you go. You'd have been fuming with that a few weeks ago, but it's starting to look a bit better now. Let me have a quick look again. Ekant, I want Zaha, but I can only do it for a hit. Is it worth it? Yeah, I think it is.
The thing is with hits, right? If it's just for one game week, then you have to question it. But actually, if you bring in Zaha, then you're bringing him in for the next
so many weeks. I mean, let me just read out the fixtures for Zaha. Leeds, Leicester, Wolves, Everton, Southampton, West Ham, Forest, Fulham, Bournemouth. That takes you up to past the World Cup. That takes you to the 31st of December.
Yeah.
He's gonna be one of the top scoring players in the game. Over that run. That's a good point. He should be one of the top scoring players. Yeah. I really like him. I think he's got to be a priority transfer, I think, for people. So yeah, I would get him for a hit. PSV 96. Would you take a -4 for Son and Tony to Zaha and Kane?
Yeah.
I like your answers.
I think
Someone's sure. Yeah.
Kane will. No, I would. That one I think is fairly easy. The -4 made me think about it, but Kane is a far better option over Son, and Zaha is a far better option over Tony. So, and Zaha I think is a better option over Son, and Kane is a better option over Tony. So either the only negative is the -4, but you could get that back within 1 week.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. Could also do Mitrovic out if he's out for a few weeks. So Son and Mitrovic to Zaha and Kane for -4 sounds pretty good. Naylor MUFC removed Diaz for James. That is Ruben Diaz. Both good fixtures. James is a must-have, and Diaz isn't even certain to play because they've got 5 centre backs. Easy sell. Easy. Oh, come on, that's an easy sell.
No. So Diaz is an easy sell. The Reece James has become the bane of my life, to be honest.
You're not going?
I find him so. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I find him so frustrating to own because like he bangs an absolute hatful in the Champions League, and then gets 1, 2 in the Premier League because they concede. And because
they haven't got any players.
I wouldn't look. Don't get me wrong. I think he keeps a clean sheet, but where's he going to play now? Are we going to see him back in the Fofana role because Fofana's injured?
That won't happen. That won't happen under Potter. There's no way Potter will play his right. We always play an attacking right wing back when we can. He did it at Brighton. It's why March was converted from left wing to right wing back to give us more of an option down the right. He likes an attacking right sided player. There's no way James will play at centre back. I'm sure he won't.
I mean, I would do the transfer. To be clear, I would do that transfer. I'm just really frustrated with owning Reece James because every week I look at him and think there should be an absolute haul of FPL points coming from you, and then every week the Chelsea clean sheet goes and he gets 2, and I'm like,
it's coming.
What even is my life?
It's coming. I'm sure. I will hang my hat on it. That the haul is coming, and I think it could well be this week against Wolves.
I mean, it should be. If he's going to haul against anybody, it really should be in this game against Wolves. I think the transfer is an easy one. The answer is yes, do it. But I still find Reece James the most infuriating FPL player on the planet.
Yeah, I mean, he's on my wall. I've always managed to. Well, to be fair, I haven't had any points from him yet, but I haven't really owned him much this season. I'm hoping it turns around.
Well, it's the same last season as well, though. And I did own, like, at the times I owned Rudiger instead of him, and he did well. And then I swapped him for Reece James, and then Reece James did nothing, and I missed a load of Rudiger hauls. Like, he's one of those players that when I own him, just seems to. Yeah, challenge me.
Stephen Gallagher again. Wilson in for Mitrovic, or just roll the transfer and play Gehi. I mean, I think you're in a really good position because you can wait on the Mitrovic news. If he's out for a week or 2, I think you can just play Gehi, and then Mitrovic comes back in. If Mitrovic is out for a longer period of time, you do Mitrovic to Wilson.
Yeah. I agree.
I think you're in a strong position with a really strong first playing bench player like Gehi with this week against Leeds at home. I think that's an easy one just to assess what Silver says later. So my answer would be if he's out for a while, do it. If not, then don't. Agree with that?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, Ryan Todd took a punt on Mount for my wild card last week. I did the same. Gameweek 1. Get rid of him. Do I sell for Foden this week or stick it out? I mean, Foden is so far clear of Mount as an option.
Yeah.
I would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would do it.
I mean, again, it's a normal caveat, isn't it? Depends how you set up in game week 12. If you're getting yourself a big problem, but you can't have Mount. There's nothing. There's just no signs there. There's no. Get rid. I would probably go for one of the other 8 million mids over Foden right now, though. I'd Maddison if you haven't got him, for example. Zaha, Bowen. These are all guys. I just don't think I'd be buying Foden this week just because of the Liverpool game and then the blank. Because you're getting an extra game. You're literally getting an extra game. I agree. Kesh Studios. Firmino in. I love these Q&As. You get some real punts. Firmino in for Mitrovic and Gehi in for Emerson Royale.
I mean, I weirdly love that. Like, having just sat here and talked about Liverpool, like, I think the Gehi pick, like we've already said, that's great. Like, that's a great option. If Mitrovic is, and again it goes back to that, if Mitrovic is out, doesn't it? I think if Mitrovic is out, then there's potential there to do that, because of all the Liverpool players, Firmino is the one that I would trust at the moment.
Yeah.
Weirdly, he's the one I would trust to score goals right now, and he's looking the most promising. He's the one that's in the centre, and he's, you know, doing all the right things. So I think you wait for the press conference later and see what's the deal with Mitrovic, and if he's definitely out, then maybe yes, because I do like the Gahey thing, and I do like this sort of slightly weird punt.
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky on these Q&As because we don't want to be like, don't buy Firmino, because then, you know, Firmino's a good option. He's a, you know, great player. He could go and score. And if you've got a feeling about him, then you should go for him. All we can really do is present the kind of facts, and the facts are Liverpool have a hell of a lot of attacking options. Núñez, they've paid 70, 80 million pounds for, and he hasn't really got going, and they might be looking at ways of getting him on. Maybe he's benched. Firmino is probably, if things aren't going Liverpool's way, I would imagine Firmino is the first subbed.
Yeah.
You know, because they've got Diaz and Salah, they're not going anywhere. So it'll be Firmino off for a Jota or a Núñez or someone. But he is in great form. But don't forget, they've got City next week. So it's a very short term move, and I mean it's Arsenal this week as well, which I'm saying there's goals, but it's not an easy fixture. I would rather have Wilson. Is my answer. I don't think Firmino
as well.
Yeah, I just don't think Firmino's a good pick personally.
But it would be fun.
It would be fun. That's it. Until he's benched.
I won't be benched.
No, I think he
don't
plays.
see him being benched. I think he plays both of these two games because I think he trusts him more than he does Núñez.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no. Sam's gonna say go for it.
I'm gonna say wait for Madison. Wait for news on Mitrovic. And then if you want to play it safe, then go with Callum Wilson. If you want to have a bit of fun,
good answer.
Go with Firmino.
Good answer. Yeah. Salman Akbar, Trent to Chilwell for a -4. And then upgrade De Silva to Foden.
Does he say if he already has Reece James as well? Would that be the Chelsea double up? Does he say? Doesn't say.
Doesn't say. I've got basically it's Trent to Chilwell and De Silva to Foden for a -4.
I mean, I also sort of love that as well.
Yeah, it's not bad, is it? Especially with Cucurella in a doubt as well. There's no real competition.
Yeah. And I think Chilwell makes a great option. Like, he's got the best points per million at Chelsea at the moment. What do I think about that? Again, it goes back to the whole caveat of Game Week 12. If you're all right for Game Week 12, then bringing in Foden is a good one. Like, I think Foden is one of the best picks for this game week, alongside Jack Grealish. In fact, alongside anyone that's wearing a Man City shirt this weekend.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think I will probably do that. If you know that you're okay for Game Week 12, I would do those transfers.
I like it. I mean, the issue with Chilwell, as we know, is Cucurella. And if Cucurella's fit, does he come back in and play left wing back? Because Chilwell can't play anywhere else. That's the only issue. I'd go James if you don't have him already. I'd do Trent to James and De Silva to Foden for a -4. That sounds great. If you've already got James, you fancy the double up? Yeah, why not? I'm not going to tell you not to do it. It's a good pick. Final super chat and maybe our final question of the day is from Shidai. Son to KDB or Son to Foden and Mitrovic to Kane for a -4. Ooh.
Oh, I don't know what to do about this. Son to KDB, I love. Son to Foden, Mitrovic to Kane, I also love. I think, you have to wait, don't you? If Mitrovic is out for 2 weeks, then I take the -4 and have Kane for the next 2.
Yeah.
If Mitrovic is fit, you just do KDB. Or you just do Foden and have the money.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kane and Foden outscore Son and Mitrovic.
I do,
by 4. I'll do it. I'll do the hit. Unless Mitrovic is fine, and then you don't.
Kane has got a great record against Brighton. Yeah, I think I'd take the hit as well. Yeah. But I'd wait for the news on Mitrovic, but I think I'd still be inclined to take the hit.
Yep, agreed. I think that's it. Thank you, everyone. We had some amazing questions, as always. Loads of chat and things. If you want to drop us some comments as well on this video. We will answer those as well. We'll try our best to. Move with Mike, our final super chat, just getting in there in the nick of time. This will be our last one. Paqueta, do you see Paqueta's touch in the Europa Conference? Amazing. Paqueta and Mitrovic to Zaha and Welbeck, or give Paqueta another game and prioritise sorting out some of my weak players. Tanganga. Wow. And Dean. Tanganga
Yes.
and Dean.
Okay.
For blank 12. Keep Paqueta. Come on.
You've got to keep Paqueta.
He was elite.
You've got to keep him. I might have spent too much time talking to Julien Laurent over the last week, but he really loves Paqueta. And I do like the West Ham fixtures, so I do think that there's scope for him. I think you've got to give him another week. And if you've got players like Luka Dean and Tanganga, then you've surely got a massive problem for game week 12, because you've basically got no bench. So if you've got any Man City or Arsenal players, you're done for. Yep. So for me, I would be prioritising getting those guys out and getting players like Guehi, Castagna, James Justin, all of those guys that we've rattled on about during the course of this Q&A today. I prioritise them in over taking out Paqueta.
For sure. I would definitely leave Paqueta. I was even looking at potentially buying him this week.
Yeah, I looked at him this week. I can afford him.
Yeah, because I could maybe do gross to Paqueta, and I've got other issues to deal with, but he was someone I was looking at. You definitely don't sell Paqueta ahead of Fulham and Southampton, given that he's now actually starting to look like a really important part in the side.
Yeah, I agree. I was looking at bringing him in this week for Aronson.
If you've got Tanganga and Dean, hell yeah,
you've got to sort that first. Deal with those problems.
I think that one of the best bits of advice I ever got in FPL was prioritise your weak links. Totally. If you're ever in doubt with your transfers, look at your team. Who's your weakest players, and get rid of them. Yep.
100%.
Excellent. Sam, we will call it there. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Thank you for joining me, as always. I'll be back with Neil for the team news. Well, Mitrovic news.
Important.
Mitrovic news, as we'll call it, at 3:30 UK time. But for now, everyone have a great Game Week 10. And Sam will be back next week.
Yeah, we will. See you next week, guys.